Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury and Bulldog Nation, welcome to the Bulldog Show. As always, we're sponsored by Deters Law. If you got a big case, that's where you need to take it. Also, Parks Yoga, which is my son's studio, Parker's studio here in Independence. So if you like yoga and you're near Independence, check it out. Well, let's just jump right in. Our first story is, of course, Abbott dropped off a lot of migrants, immigrants, right on the doorstep of Kamala Harris's home on Christmas Eve. Many called it a political stunt. Duh, it is a political stunt, but the stunt has meaning. You know, these politicians in Washington, D.C., and remember, Kamala Harris was the chosen one to solve this crisis, which, of course, we know they didn't solve, they created. They're not going to solve a crisis that they intentionally created. So it is symbolic and it is significant that these folks in Washington, D.C. are removed from the problem. And it's good to bring the problem to their doorstep to make the point. So I salute Governor Abbott. All right, then we go to Joe Biden, the hider-in-chief. It's been reported that he's only given like 7 or 8 sit-down interviews. Wow. Now, of course, we know why. The guy's got full-blown dementia. I mean, stammering, stumbling around every single day. It's truly amazing. It's truly amazing. He is merely the puppet for all the puppeteers. And he's got many puppeteers. But he's merely the puppet that they just throw out there. I mean, it is true. Who would have ever thought that Weekend at Bernie's would become the President of the United States? That's what we have. We have Weekend, or actually, we have 4 years of Bernie at the White House. Then we have Whoopi Goldberg. She gets suspended from The View for some anti-Semitic remarks. And now she's back, and she's saying the same damn thing. Saying the exact same thing. What happened to all the others that said this? They get canceled permanently. Example, Kanye West. But not Whoopi. Not Whoopi. Twitter. And you know what? I'm still waiting. I mean, I'm still blown away. In fact, Bulldog News ought to do it. Come on. Wesley, we got to send an email to Zuckerberg and say, did you do the same thing as Twitter? Let's ask the question. No one else is asking the question because we know they did. In fact, they're still doing it. You can't make this up. I have been lowered for 20 more days in the feeds on Facebook. And you know why? Because in a response to something relative to Daniel Cameron, I said I will beat him, meaning beat him in an election. When we appeal it, they say, thank you, but we're too busy. We don't have time. We'll take that into consideration next time. And nothing changes. That is the extent of censorship relative to me that goes on every single day. And I am what they call a small fry. Rand Paul's Festivus report. He does it every year. I think this year he pointed out nearly $500 billion of wasted spending. I mean, it's off the charts with what is in this spending bill. Everybody grabs something. I mean, they got stuff like, hamsters fighting about something, $2 billion for this, $3 billion for that. I mean, the most absurd, I'm not going to go through the list. You can check it out for yourself. But it's really, truly absurd. Meanwhile, $80 billion to Ukraine. 40 more billion, totals up to $100 billion to Ukraine. Meanwhile, just think what $100 billion would do to America's poorest. Think about that. It's unbelievable. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. I hope you have a great day. Welcome to Bulldog TV Local News. Remember, right after this is the World News with Jamie Spindley. Well, our lead story I chose is Mitch McConnell. because we cover local and regional news and we put our 2 cents worth of commentary on it. And the old turtle, the old crow, deserves some disparagement this morning. Here's my working list. First off, he and John Boehner left us hanging with the bridge. He wanted to spend plenty of money overseas, but no bridge for us. He'll send $100 billion to Ukraine, but not $2 billion for our bridge across the Ohio River here in Cincinnati, on the busiest corridor in the country, I-75, right down the middle of America, all the way to Florida. He disparaged Trump. He wanted to end Trump, even after Trump gave old Elaine a job. You know, even though he appointed all the Bushies and McConnellites that McConnell asked him to do, disloyal as can be, and then tried to blame him for what just happened in the midterms when it was McConnell's fault. Then we have the Ukraine. Then we have the lack of what's going on with the flood and the tornado. Between Bashir and McConnell, and Rand Paul, not too good for the flood victims and the tornado victims in Kentucky. Then we have him playing ball all the time with Biden, Schumer, and Pelosi. And then we got all the shenanigans with China. Then we have him okay with Romney and McCain as our presidential nominee, who got shellacked because they're wimps, but not Trump. Then we got his vote on the guns bill. We got his vote on this latest $1.7 trillion atrocity. It's truly amazing. And then we have him being sanctioned by over 20 counties in the state of Kentucky. This guy runs the establishment in the Republican Party in Kentucky, and that's what rank and file, hardworking Republicans in all these other counties think of him. By the way, those 20 counties are spread all throughout the state, and you don't think other counties wanted to do it but have just left him alone? And only one candidate for Republican governor speaks out against him, and that's yours truly. All right, now for law and crime. Christopher Groh was indicted Monday following a hit-and-run crash in Green Township. Groh veered off the road, hit a pedestrian walking by Winburn Avenue in November, and he fled the scene. The pedestrian did survive, and Groh turned himself in later. Good for you for turning yourself in. 2 correction officers in Warren County state prisons were assaulted by inmates on Christmas. The Lebanon Correctional Institute officers were taken to the hospital after the attack. One released from the hospital the following day. The second remained for observation. In local news, Kings Island and others have had major water issues. Not good plumbing across the region. Many businesses and organizations have been forced to shut down. Kings Island actually had to shut down Winterfest on Monday. Police are asking help finding a Coleraine woman who went missing on Christmas morning. 26-year-old Diana Kelly is listed as 5'3" and could be driving a 2010 Chevrolet Trax. In Kentucky state news, the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife is looking for your used natural Christmas tree. The organization will use discarded trees to create new fish habitat sites in Kentucky waterways. Pretty cool. 2 sites are designated in northern Kentucky: Pendery Sports Park and Camp Ernst Lake Boat Ramp. Crippling weather and an uptick in flu and respiratory illnesses in the Kentucky Blood Center are concerned. Blood supplies are at a critically low level throughout the state because of a low donor turnout. Kentucky Blood Center see about 400 daily donors this time of year, but this year it's only 240. Come on, let's help those vampires out. In Ohio State news, a Ridgeway Elementary gym instructor, Dawn Jane DeLong, was awarded a Notable Education Award from the state of Ohio. She's the only teacher awarded the Ohio Gold Excellence Award in Physical Education for 2022. A recent Ohio study has revealed that average life expectancy for counties in Ohio. Delaware County has the highest average life expectancy, 81.7. Scioto County, that's where they got a bad opiate problem, 70.7. And in sports, the Bengals got some bad news this weekend when offensive lineman Larrell Collins suffered a
Hello, Bulldog Nation. Thank you for watching Bulldog TV World News. The latest headlines. Lead story. The Serbian army says it's on its highest level of combat readiness after weeks of escalating tension between Serbia and Kosovo. Heavy snow in Japan has killed 17 and injured more than 90 people and left hundreds of homes without power. Vladimir Putin needs to return to reality. There have been no serious peace talks between Ukraine and Russia for many months after Russia was ready for Ukraine peace talks. China has announced that its requirement for travelers arriving in the country going to quarantine will end on January the 8th. And the severe weather storm that has swept across Northern America has left the city of Buffalo, New York, looking like a war zone. The city recorded 25 weather-related deaths up to now. Until tomorrow, every dog has its day. Take care.